Do you remember when you received your first love letter? I'll never forget mine. I was young and in high school. It went something like this. Will you be my boyfriend? Check yes or no. I was young and I had no idea what it meant to be in love. All I knew was that my stomach was full of butterflies. Did you know that the Apostle Paul had a special affection for the Philippian brethren? In Philippians chapter 1 and verse 7 he writes, I have you in my heart. And again in the very next verse he again writes, I long after you in the tender mercies of Christ Jesus. And it's in this very same city that while Paul and Silas are preaching the gospel, that they are beaten and thrown into prison. And around midnight, while they were praying and singing hymns unto God, and the prisoners were listening to them. Acts chapter 16 and verse 25. The power of love is stronger than any physical wound, and no amount of ill treatment was going to stop Paul and Silas from praising their God that day. And beaten and in chains, they sing. And it's in this same love letter that Paul penned these words, rejoice in the Lord always, Philippians 4:4. You might say Paul lived what he preached. And this message is as true for you and me today as it was for them. We are commanded to rejoice in the Lord always. But do we? We have become a people that seem to like to complain. We complain about politics and school boards and whether it's too hot, it's too cold, etc., etc., etc. But did you catch it earlier in Acts 16:25? It said the prisoners were listening. And because of that, the jailer cries out, what must I do to be saved? And he and his household that night believed and were baptized. Do you realize the power that your attitude has? By Paul and Silas giving praise to God, souls were saved that night. There's another lesson we can learn in this as well. The prisoners were listening. No matter where you are, someone is listening. Even in the dark places where you think that they don't want to hear about God. On this occasion, there were prisoners and a jailer who cried out, what must I do to be saved? Paul and Silas made a difference because they chose to rejoice instead of to be mad or upset. They could have chosen to be angry and upset because of the way they were ill-treated. They could have been ugly to the guards. And if they had, the jailer probably would have never seen any difference in them than he's seen in any other ordinary prisoner. But because they chose to rejoice, souls were saved. The next time you find yourself complaining about life, remember someone is listening, even in the places that you think they're not. How you respond to struggles in life may be the difference between whether or not someone is saved or remains lost. Oh Lord, I pray that you forgive me for the times that I have been negative, for the times I failed to rejoice. May others see my joy, and may it be infectious. Let me be a part of the cure and not a part of the problem. And this is Jesse Walker with the Glenwood Church of Christ.